Okay, good morning, guys. So we're going to learn today about the surface area of prisms and cylinders. So the first thing is to define what is a prism. A prism is a polyhedron with two congruent parallel sides called bases. The other sides are called lateral faces. Notice that a prism will always have two bases. So if in case you doubt what the bases are, remember there are two. For example, this is a pentagonal prism, since the two pentagons that you see are the bases. It doesn't matter whether it's standing upright up like this, or upside up like this, or sideways. If it's sideways and it has two pentagons, that would still be the bases, the pentagons, okay? The other is called the lateral edges. This is the lateral edge right over here, and this right here is the lateral face, okay? This is a triangular prism. Notice the triangle are the bases. All right, and then the rectangles, those are the lateral faces. Okay, so moving on from that, we need to know what is the altitude of a prism. The altitude of a prism is a perpendicular segment that joins the planes of the bases. The height of the prism is the length of the altitude. So for example, here this H stands for height, which is the altitude or the height of this prism. Okay, in a rectangular prism, the height could vary because it depends what you pick for a base, since they're all rectangles. This right here is a trapezoidal prism, which notice that you have the two trapezoids and then the height is sideways. You see that? Okay, this is a right prism. A right prism is a prism where the lateral faces are rectangles and a lateral edge is the altitude. So the lateral faces are rectangles and the lateral edge is the altitude or the height of the prism. While an oblique prism, okay, is some or all of the lateral faces are non-rectangular. Okay, some or all of the lateral faces are non-rectangular. Okay. All right, so what is the lateral area? Well, the lateral area is the sum of the area of all the lateral faces, or all their sides, okay? When you sum it up, all the sides, not including the bases, you have the lateral area. The formula for that is the lateral area is the perimeter of the base, or big P, times the height. Okay? Now, let's see here. Big P stands for perimeter of the base, while H stands for the altitude of the prism. The surface area, we're talking about the total surface area, is the sum of the lateral area and the two bases, the area of the two bases put together. So here's the formula. The surface area equals the lateral area plus twice the area of the base, where big B stands for area of the base. This is important because when you're looking at the formula chart, you need to know what those letters stand for. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. Here it says, find the lateral and the surface areas of the following prism. Notice we have a triangular prism. In this triangular prism, the triangles or the two triangles are the bases of the prism. Notice that the formula to find the lateral area is the perimeter of the base. Let's write that down. The lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. Notice the perimeter in this triangle, they gave me that this is 3, this is 4, and then I'm missing the hypotenuse. I know that I could use the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That means c is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. Remember that? Okay, so basically c is the square root of 4 squared plus 3 squared, which is the square root of 25, which is 5. That means that this side right here is 5 centimeters. All right, so now I know the perimeter of the base, which in this case is 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is 12 centimeters. Now I need the height. The height is 6 centimeters. He is the one that connects one base to the other That is the height of the perimeter of the prism. I'm sorry. So that's 6 centimeters. All I have to do with those two numbers is multiply them. So 6 times 12 is what? 72 centimeters times centimeters is square centimeters. So the lateral area is 72 square centimeters. So we answer one of the questions, the lateral. Then I'm looking for the surface area. Well, the surface area is the lateral area plus twice the area of the base. And this, the reason being because you have two bases. See that? You have two bases. Notice I put this, the net of it, right over here so that we see why this is happening. But let me work it for you, and we'll figure this one out, and I'll show you why it happens, okay? Notice the area of the base, since the base is a triangle, and the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. The base is 3, the height is 4, so the big B right over here is this area of the triangle. So 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2, or half of 12 is 6 square centimeters. So now I have everything I need. I have the lateral area, which is 72 square centimeters, that goes right here. So the surface area is 72 square centimeters plus twice the area of the base, which is 6 square centimeters. So we have that this is 72 square centimeters plus 2 times 6, that's 12 square centimeters. So you have a total of 84 square centimeters, and that's your surface area total. This is lateral, only the sides. Now, why does this formula work? Notice that if I break this into its components, I have that this is 3 centimeters, this is 4 centimeters, this is 5 centimeters. This height right here is 6 centimeters. So since this is 3 and this wraps around it, that means this is also 3 centimeters. If this is 4 and this wraps around it, this is also 4 centimeters. So notice this is a big rectangle right here. And that big rectangle, we know that the area is base times height. The base is 3 plus 5 plus 4, which is 12, which happens to be the perimeter of the triangle. See that? 3 plus 4 plus 5, 3 plus 4 plus 5 happens to be the perimeter of that triangle. So this is a right triangle right there. So what we have is 12 times 6. That's where we get the 72 square centimeters for this rectangle. And then we have this base, which is 3 times 4 divided by 2, but we have it twice. So that is your 12 centimeters square. That's where we come. 6 square centimeters is 1. Since we have 2, that would be 12 square centimeters. So the total area of all this right here would be a total of 84 square centimeters. Pretty neat. Looking at the cylinder basically is about the same, except that this time, notice the bases are circles. And circles, we don't call going around the circle the perimeter, we'll call it the circumference, right? We have the right cylinders, and we have the oblique cylinders. Same thing applies as before with the prisms. To find the lateral area of a cylinder, notice that we only need this rectangle, which will be the circumference of the circle times the height. So that would be 2 pi r times the height. Or you could say pi d, where diameter is twice the radius, times the height. So either or. For the surface area, it would be this lateral area plus the area of the two bases, which is pi r squared, right? Twice. So we have that you would have a whole formula as 2 pi r times the height plus twice the area of the base. If the base is a circle, then pi radius squared. So there is the formula for the surface area of a cylinder. Total surface area versus lateral area. Okay? Now let's move on. Let me give you an example. Here they gave me this cylinder. where they gave me the diameter of the circle. Let's write it down. The diameter is equal 10 meters, while the height is equal 12 meters. What do we need? Well, to find the lateral and surface area. Well, the lateral area, it would be 2 pi r times the height, or pi d times the height, either or, right? Since I have the diameter, so that means that's 10 pi times the height, which is 12. And this is in meters. So 10 times 12, that's 120 pi square meters. That is the lateral area. If I want the whole thing, then I have to add to that the area of the two bases, which is the circle. To find the area of the circle, remember the area of a circle is by the formula pi radius squared. So basically, I have the lateral area, which is 120 pi square meters, and then the radius, since the diameter is 10, the radius is 5. So this would be pi 5 square, or 25 pi square meters. So 120 pi square meters, that's your lateral area, plus the area of the two bases. So this is the area of one of the bases, so twice, because I have two circles, the area of the bases, which is 25 pi square meters. So I have a total of 120 pi square meters plus 50 pi square meters. That would make 170 pi square meters, and that would be the total surface area. Here is the total surface area. Here is the lateral area. Notice the lateral area just has is the area of the rectangle, and then this one is adding the two circles, top and bottom. Okay, let's look. Here we have a pentagonal prism. In a pentagonal prism, the base is a pentagon. We're gonna assume that these are all regular pentagon, right? So since it is a regular pentagon, that means all the sides measure the same. So I have the big P. Remember the formula. The formula for the surface area is the lateral area plus twice the area of the base. In this case, the lateral area would be the perimeter of the base. Perimeter of the base times the height plus twice the area of the base. See that? And this is the formula you're gonna see in the formula chart right here. So that's the total, right? So now I look for the perimeter of the base. Since one of the sides of the pentagon is 7 inches, then 7 times 5 being a pentagon, that would be 35, right? So that would be 35 inches for the perimeter. The height, that would be 9 inches. So I start filling in. 35 inches times 90 inches plus twice the area of the base. Well, the area of the base, if you remember, the area for a pentagon, a regular pentagon, is 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. We already have the perimeter, which is 35, times the apothem. The apothem is 4.8, and that times 1/2, or half of it, right? That would give me this big P, or the area of the base. So let's take a look at that. Let's go for the calculator. I have 4.8 times 35. That's 168 divided by 2. That gives me this 84. So the area of one of the bases is 84 square inches. So since this is 84 square inches, then twice 84 square inches will give me what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's 168. So we have 35 times 9 We'll multiply that. That's 315 square inches. Plus 168 square inches. Plus 168. So that's 483. So the surface area is 483 square inches. And presto, done. That's your surface area. Okay? Here in example 4, they give us a cylinder. Again, the formula. Take a look. Formula. For the surface area is the circumference, or 2 pi r times the height plus twice pi radius square. Now I just need some information. I need the radius. Well, if the diameter is 20, the radius is 10 kilometers. And then the height is 8 kilometers. So now all I need to do is fill this in. 2 pi, the radius is 10. 10, the height is 8. 8 plus 2 pi 10 square. There we are. So 10 times 8, that's 80. 80 times 2, that's 160. So that's 160 pi. And this is 2 times 10 square is 100, and 2 times 100, that's 200 pi. And then I just add that up. That's 360 pi square kilometers. However, it says round to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to take that and put it in the calculator. And I'm going to say that 360 pi equals approximately 1,130. I'm supposed to round to the 9th, but if I round it, it goes up 1, so this one will go up 1, so it's 1131 or 1,131. So this is approximately 1,131 square kilometers, rounding to the nearest tenth. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, here's a word problem. It says Mr. Sullivan has become tired of all the bullying from Mr. Kelly during his videos. One day he catches him and starts to lower him into a vat of acid. He tells him the only way he can save himself is if he correctly figures out the square feet of paint that Sully used to paint the outside of the vat. The vat has a diameter of 6 feet. So we have a diameter, that's information right here that we're going to write. The diameter equals 6 feet. And the vat is 10 feet deep. So the depth or the height would be 10 feet. Okay, so now that I have that, let's do a little bit of a drawing. So we have a vat full of acid, so we figure it's something like that. It looks like a cylinder, right? Remember, this is full of acid, and they're lowering poor Mr. Kelly. So has become tired of all the bullying from Mr. Kelly, so they're lowering Mr. Kelly. Ooh, he's going down. It's his hair. Boom, boom, boom. His legs, they're tied up. And they're lowering him, right, to the acid. Now, Mr. Kelly guesses 30 square feet. Well, will he survive? Remember, if we're going to paint this vat, the paint will go here, all around and under. Not the top, because the top is where the liquid is. So we know that the height would be 10 feet. And we know the diameter from here to here is 6 feet, so that the radius equals 3 feet. See? So now we use the formula. Well, the formula for the lateral area, it was a circumference, which is 2 pi r times the height, or 2 pi 3 times 10. 3 times 10, that's 30. 30 times 2, that's 60 pi. So that's the lateral area. On top of that, we have one, if we're going to paint the bottom there, that bottom, so that when it touches the ground, it doesn't become rusty or anything like that. Well, if we're going to paint that bottom, that is one, not two, but one base. So we need the area of the base. So that's pi radius square. The radius is 3, so that's 3 square times pi, or 9 pi. And that would be in square feet. So the total that they need to paint is 69 pi square feet. Mr. Kelly guessed that it was 30 square feet. Well, over here, even if he's not painting the bottom, just by painting the bottom 60 pi, that's way more than 30 square feet. Look, if I put that 60 pi, enter, that's 188.5 square feet alone, only on the lateral, just to paint. He said 30 square feet. Wow, he's way off. Poor Mr. Kelly. I guess he's going in the acid. Okay, so I'm sorry for Mr. Kelly. So let us do another problem. Here, you try these two. You find the surface area of both of these, the cylinder and the square prism or rectangular prism. And then, stop the video and then come right back and see how you did. Okay, so I'm going to work them both. So the first one, we have a cylinder. So what we want is the formula. So the formula for that, the surface area, is equal pi d, or 2 pi r, times the height plus twice the area of the base, or pi r squared. All right, so I need the radius. Radius, we have it, is 3 feet. I need the height. Height is 8 feet. So I think I have everything I need. So 2 pi, radius is 3, times 8 plus twice pi 3 squared. There we go. 3 times 8, that's 24. 24 times 2, that's 48 pi square feet. Plus 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18 pi square feet. So we have 8 and 8, that's 16. 4, 5, and 6. So that's 66 pi square feet. That's for your total surface area. And that's it. If you want to round it, just put in the calculator and you have an approximate. Here is the last one here. Basically, I have a square in the back because 8 times 8, right? So the perimeter, remember the formula for surface area is perimeter of the base times the height plus twice the area of the base. Well, the perimeter is 8 times 4, which is 32 centimeters, times the height is 10 centimeters, plus twice the area of the base is 8 times 8, so that's 64 square centimeters. So 32 times 10, that's 320 square centimeters, because centimeters times centimeters, plus 64 and 64, 60 plus 60 is 120, so that's 128 square centimeters. Now you add them together, that's 8, 4, 4. So that's 448 square centimeters for the total surface area of this rectangular prism. So see how you did. Okay guys, so now all you have to do is do the practice exercises and then I'll see you in class. Any questions, just remember to write them down and post them to me. Thank you.